Good morning, hockey fans. This is Stephen Heisler with HeisHockey.com, the victorious hockey company, and the world famous and absolutely crazy Junior Hockey Discussion Group on Facebook. You are watching the Junior Hockey Morning Show. Today is Wednesday, September 6th, 2023. You can find this show on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, WSBN.TV. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. WSBN would like for me to remind you that you can watch the archive show on their webpage directly. You can also catch that on the YouTube channel. Lots of places to watch the show these days. Today's topic, teamwork. Before diving into that, we had an inquiry yesterday, an accusation that we are being racist in our group for not allowing some people to join. So the criteria for joining the group is really simple. You got to answer the questions. That's it. And the questions are not racist. They're very general questions. What is your connection to the game or junior hockey? And do you agree to abide by the rules? Pretty simple. Some folks have a hard time with questions. Some folks have a hard time with answers. Others don't like rules whatsoever. But I can guarantee you 100% of the time, if you do not answer the questions, there's a very good chance you're not going to be able to get into the group. That's the house cleaning for this morning. Teamwork. Everyone benefits when hockey clubs show their players how their daily work contributes to the larger whole goal for the team. Takes a number of players to make a team tick, and coaches have to be proactive in kind of massaging the egos of those kids a little bit and help them understand that work equals results. When teams start failing to meet expectations, clubs need to know the main obstacles that are preventing the team from delivering on ice results. Coaches need this information so they can create impactful changes that help their team secure on-ice success. There's usually a good reason why things are going astray. Not putting in the right amount of work is a good start. Taking shortcuts in practice, shortcuts at the gym, shortcuts in general are a good way to throw a team off course. But what if the coaches instead create issues by messing with the chemistry? Having 70-plus kids cycle through a roster in any given season is probably not good for team chemistry or morale. While coaches say they value teamwork, players say they believe that coaches really want to see players compete with one another. And we see that happening over and over again. And that happens in junior hockey at the free-to-play levels, where pretty much every practice until the trade deadline is a tryout. There can be kids coming through with every intention of taking stalls. Oftentimes, the guy that's slipping or not doing the work finds himself, might have been comfortable in a stall, finds himself with a note on the stall saying, come see the coach because your stuff's been packed up and they got a new guy that needs that stall and you're going home. Happens every year. So let's take some time to clear up the obstacles of what's hurting teamwork and how to get teams to get better results. To function effectively as a team, players must understand how they function within the big picture. People might disengage if they don't realize how integral their work is in the success of the whole team. Look at a goalie may not feel the love if both defensemen are always rushing up the ice on the offensive part of the game and not being very particular defensively. he may feel like his work is all for naught if he has no support. I get that. Showing players how their role matters can motivate and inspire them to improve their performance. Feedback also allows players to see their progress. Coaches can now use real-time performance analytics to initiate constructive dialogue with players, including solutions-oriented feedback as part of that discussion. Instat is an amazing tool. I don't know what the North American Hockey League is going to use this year now that he got away from Hockey Tech, wherever that Instat came from, but I'm sure there's some kind of analytics part of that equation. But the sit-downs with the player are very important. And players, they can help players stay on task and address potential issues if and when they arrive. Encourage solutions-oriented thinking. When problems arise, how does the team react? Big issue. How the team reacts often depends on how the situation is addressed in the first place. If the coach comes in screaming, probably not going to get the kind of reaction he's hoping for. So what is a player mindset? That really depends on the coaches and how disciplined that program is and how disciplined that team is. Do team members feel as if they're just scraping by? Focus on shifting the perspective. Players should look at solutions and stay positive, especially when the pressure is high. Goes back to Instat, goes back to practice. If you're addressing shortcomings in practice, if players have time to address individual game problems, if there's an issue with the skating or if the shot's off, do they have enough time on the ice to get those shortcomings addressed? Coaches should be optimistic and pass that optimism on to the players. Maybe remember you have control over your attitude, approach, and work ethic. Teams plagued by negativity and pessimism are more prone to losing games. The more positive the coaching staff is, the more positive the attitude is in the locker room. The optimist thinks about how to overcome challenges instead of complaining about roadblocks. Serious issue. Yes, we don't have a skate sharpener. Yes, we don't have a trainer. Whatever the issues that's causing discontent or unhappiness in the locker room, maybe there's no sticks. Maybe there's not enough sticks. Maybe they don't like the sticks. Maybe the stick tape's being stolen by the pro team. All these issues can be avoided. Players should collaborate and confront these obstacles by asking what will be the most productive in the moment. So you guys got to be able to get over whatever shortcomings there are and push each other to do better. Trigger optimism when challenges arise and break the larger concern down into smaller, more manageable tasks. Yes, we're getting pounded 11-0. Not good. Why? Maybe that's a bad analogy. Most teams don't get beat up 11-0. Okay, let's go 5-1. Why? Breakdowns in the system, breakdowns in defensive responsibilities. A lot of issues there. Finally, make a collective decision of how each person can do better to change the result. Winning is the result of players being set up for success. Teams have to do that. Programs have to do that. Give these kids what they need to succeed off the ice, and they'll do better to succeed on the ice. That begins with the first camp and runs through the conclusion of the playoffs. Celebrate coaches and players moving up the ladder of development and do absolutely everything possible to foster that elevation. Some teams hinder that climb up the ladder of development. Had a situation here this last week. Have a goalie that was in the North American Hockey League training camp. Was probably going to be one of 3 goalies they took that were going to take to the Blaine Showcase and open their season with, but the 18U team that one of the 2005 goalies was going to go back to if he didn't make it, started getting pushy, started saying, you know what, we may have to find somebody else to replace you if you don't return. That forced our hand a little bit. That forced me to have to call the NA coach and say, listen, we got a problem. This kid's not going to have a spot on that high caliber 18U team unless we get him back here before the weekend. Are you going to keep him or not? Well, coach says, I don't know. I have two guys that are really fighting for that number 2 spot. I don't know which one's leading right now. And I'm sorry, but that decision has to get made, or this kid's going to leave tonight or tomorrow. That was a bad situation that I was put into, and the family was put into by that AAA coach. Not a good look. That's not a way to excel. It's not a way to push kids up the ladder of development. That's it for today. Hope that you enjoy your morning coffee and have a great day in hockey.